This is the ultimate question. What phone should I buy today? Not everyone has $1,000 to spend on a phone, but at $399 starting price, this seems like a really good deal. This is a weird move from Apple, but almost perfect for those looking for a cheap new phone. But let's talk about it first, because it's not exactly perfect. Should you buy the 2020 Apple iPhone SE in 2020? Hello everyone, this is Matt from Real World Review. Check out the social media listed above and the description for some extras. Alright, let's review this cheap but good iPhone. The iPhone 6 came out in 2014. 2 years later, the same design happens with the iPhone 7, but minor tweaks like the removal of the headset jack and a bigger camera on the back. A year later, we get the iPhone 8, which looks similar to the iPhone 7, but with a glass back. Now, the base design of the iPhone 6 is considered to be the same as the 2020 iPhone SE, but the SE is much more refined. Some people may like that, and some people may be like me and not like it. I like a new, fresh design, kind of like what Google did with the Pixel 3 and the Pixel 3a, but in that case, I'm not really a fan of that design change. But I do appreciate the fact that they actually go with a new design, so it doesn't feel like I'm using the same old device. Apple, however, decided to play it safe and go with the tried and true iPhone 6 design, or in this case, the iPhone 8. There's a 4.7-inch 750p LCD on the front, aluminum frame in the middle, and glass on the back. Wireless charging, water resistance of IP67, and no headset jack. Essentially the same as the 2018 iPhone 8 with very slight upgrades to the logic board and the screen. The metal and glass sandwich houses the A13 Bionic chip with 3GB of RAM, the former coming from the iPhone 11 series. The battery is the same as the iPhone 8, just with a different connector, making the battery changes more proprietary, just like they did with the original SE. However, in that case, the SE battery was bigger than the iPhone 5S battery, so we didn't really care too much about that. The screen is actually not as good, in a sense, with Apple dropping the 3D Touch layer, cause why not? Then you get little stuff like Gigabyte LTE and Wi-Fi 6, stuff that doesn't really matter too much right now, but it will be nice in the years to come. The upgrades aren't really worth paying for, but $400 is a very low amount compared to the standard $1,000 or so upgrade that we have come to expect from flagship devices. This is an interesting design, kind of like the $59,000 BMW M2. Sure, it's small, but what's under the hood is really what matters. Okay, that's not really a cheap example, but it is cheaper than the much better $105,000 BMW M5. The idea of this phone is to get as much of the $700 iPhone 11 into the $400 iPhone SE. I do wish the screen could be better if Google is capable of putting a 1080p OLED screen in their 5.6-inch Pixel 3a, but Google did put a slower processor than what their current flagship had. So I think Apple wins that one. Just like the Pixel 3a, Apple took the design and gave the iPhone SE the same camera as the iPhone 11. Well, kind of. Teardowns from people like iFixit say it's more of the iPhone 8 camera with the image processing from the A13 chip, but either way, it's a single 12-megapixel shooter and it will not disappoint. However, you might be a little bit disappointed if you use portrait mode, which only works on people, not dogs. Sorry. Apple allegedly uses a 2D image on the back and front cameras, meaning that the portrait effect is purely done by the processor and software. With that said, it doesn't actually look too bad when you do consider what it's doing. But the rear camera looks amazing during the day, as well as at night, but night mode is not found on this phone. Regardless, you still get some amazing shots from the back camera, even without a telephoto or ultra-wide angle sensor. It is something that we come to expect from Apple, but rarely do we ever see it in a $400 package, other than like the Google Pixel 3a. Video recording is quite nice as well, giving you an amazing video experience for $400, but I would still take the iPhone 11 at $700 if you're going to use this phone for recording 4K at 60 frames per second. The other reason is because the front camera is the same 7-megapixel camera found in the iPhone 8, which works well, but it only shoots 1080p at 30 frames per second, while the iPhone 11 does 4K 60 frames per second on all of the cameras. Overall, you get a nice little setup with the cameras on the 2020 iPhone SE, just like you did on the 2016 iPhone SE. With all of this said, is this for you? Well, if you own a non-Plus iPhone with a home button, the answer is almost always yes. This phone offers nice upgrades for those looking to get a tune-up on their current phone, but aren't ready to do some DIY work like some of my viewers. This will sometimes give you more storage, a new battery, a more reliable and longer lasting processor, more RAM, and sturdier phone, along with extra features like wireless charging or portrait mode. It isn't the best upgrade, but it definitely is the best for the price. Sure, you can find iPhone XRs that are selling for a little bit more than the MSRP on the 2020 iPhone SE, but that's a much bigger phone than the SE, and you probably are considering this phone because it is small and light. Now, if you have a bigger phone and you love it, or one without a home button, this might be a tough sell. I moved from the iPhone X and OnePlus 7 Pro to this phone and didn't really notice too much of a performance difference, but man, it was very difficult getting used to that small design again. The nice thing is that Apple does offer a decent return policy and generally allows you to return it for little to no questions asked. Regardless of what camp you're in, you should definitely check out this phone. So should you buy this phone in 2020? I would say absolutely. This is an awesome little phone, but it is little. I used to own an iPhone 7 and I love that phone, but that's because the iPhone 7 Plus was too big for me at the time. Now my view on phone sizes has dramatically changed and it makes it hard for me to recommend phones like this to people. Of course, if you love using small phones, this might be the perfect phone for you, even with some of the corners cut to give us this $399 powerhouse. To be fair, there's nothing out there that will give you the performance for this price, and nothing this cheap that will put you into the sacred Apple ecosystem, unless you're trying to buy a used phone. And that's all I wanted to talk about. Thanks for watching my review on the 2020 iPhone SE in 2020. If you have any questions, leave them in the comment section or message me on Twitter. I get bored over there. Also, check out my other social media listed above, subscribe and hit that bell button if you like the channel and you want to see more videos. And if you've made it this far, awesome. I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.